Hello, my name is Nathan Campos, and today I would like to talk about memory. Why is memory important? Well, memory is very important in how we live our day-to-day lives. Without it, we wouldn't be able to learn about the world around us. Learning and retaining information is very important to surviving and thriving in the world. From the faces of our loved ones to the daily routines we seem to never pay any attention to, memory is an important part of who we are. So today, I would like to discuss three important concepts in memory that I find interesting. The first would be sensory memory and the double take. Now, a short video to give intro to sensory memory.
So the two specific types of sensory memory are iconic memory and echoic memory. As I'm sure you're able to deduce from the names, iconic memory has to do with visual stimuli, whereas echoic memory has to do with auditory stimuli. Iconic memory is presented for only a very short amount of time. For example, the picture we just saw. Echoic memory is our sensory memory for sounds. Echoic memory is important for our ability to comprehend and understand language, because we need to keep sounds in our memory long enough to be able to make sense of them as words. So sensory memory is preserved for a very short period of time. So if sensory memory is so brief in duration, how is it that we can remember, for example, someone's phone number or the directions to the gas station?
Sensory memory is the first type of memory created. It is the memory that is created as the senses receive stimulus, and therefore begin to transform that stimulus into information, which is then taken and turned into messages that are transported throughout the nervous system. The two most researched types of sensory memory, iconic memory, involving visual memories that tend to be very, very short, and echoic memory, which is a short-term memory created after receiving auditory stimulus. To focus on the iconic memory, which lasts briefly due to new information replacing it in a process called masking, let's discuss the capacity in which this kind of memory can be utilized or accessed. So, the example we will be using is something that probably everyone has done at one point or another, a double take. Let's assume you are walking down the street, and as you do, something strange briefly comes to your attention. If you walk back in an attempt to confirm what your eyes have only briefly witnessed, then you are accessing the short sensory memory that you have only just created. Try and remember the last time you drove or walked down a street and something caught your eye as you passed. Did you stop and take a look? That was your sensory memory at work, receiving signals and transporting them throughout your nervous system. This is how sensory memory is used in your life, and why it's important to know what it is. The second concept I would like to discuss is a concept called flashbulb memory. Now, a short video to introduce what flashbulb memories are.
There is a particular type of memory which psychologists call a flashbulb memory. Its characteristics are you can remember exactly where you were and what you were doing when you got a particular bit of public news.
I can remember when Kennedy was assassinated.
When John Lennon was shot.
Princess Diana had been killed in a car crash.
It's clear there are some events which are so striking that we lay down vivid memories that remain for years afterwards. So what's happening?
Most of us have flashbulb memories, but just what is it that sears them so strongly onto the brain? One view is that it's involvement of the amygdala, the part of the brain dealing with emotion, which makes the experience more memorable. It may also be that because we tell the story of how we heard the news over and over again, that helps lay it down in our memory.
Now that we've discussed sensory memories that are a little bit more fragile in their longevity, I'd like to discuss memories that are much more vivid and robust in their retention. These types of memories would be flashbulb memories, which seem to be like photographs in the mind with how well they are remembered. These memories are usually created during events that are unanticipated and are coupled with strong emotions. Common examples of flashbulb memories could be the passing away of somebody who is famous. For example, most people who were alive at the time remember the assassination of JFK. This memory was tragic and therefore was associated in the mind with emotions such as fear, anger, and sadness. Those strong emotions that take place at the moment cause hormones in the body to be released, which aid in the retention of these memories and help them become long-term memories. This occurs due to a tendency in the mind called automatic encoding, which allows information to become long-term memories. Other kinds of automatic encoding would be like the passage of time or the attention to physical spaces, things that our mind pays attention to for us without us having to directly focus on them. For instance, the amount of street signs you may pass on your way home in your car. If asked about them, you could probably remember that they were there, and you could probably answer that you passed a few of them, since your mind was paying attention. Automatic encoding eliminates the effort that it would usually take to encode flashbulb memories into long-term memories. This is due to the hormones and emotions expressed during the moment the memory occurs. Perhaps a flashbulb memory that could be a little more personal to you would be the sudden passing of a family relative and where you were when you heard the news. Now, while flashbulb memories are considered vivid and incredibly accurate, however, no memory lasts forever, and all memories are susceptible to decay over time. The third concept I would like to discuss is a concept called semantic network model. Now, a short video introducing what a semantic network model is.
A semantic network, sometimes referred to as a concept map, is a tool used to graph the relationships between objects or ideas. Let's take a look at how to form such a network. Pick a concept to start out with. In this example, we'll use school. What are some ideas we can connect to the idea of school? One might be homework. Another might be bus. And a third could be student. Now, there are a lot more ideas we can connect to school, but for the purposes of this example, we'll just stick to 3. Now that we have a start to the network, we can look more closely at the 3 branches that come from school. Let's look at bus and treat this branch as the new start. What are some concepts and ideas we can connect to the idea of bus? Besides school, we can connect yellow, smelly, and transportation.
To help explain the semantic network model, it may be appropriate to understand what semantic memories are and how they relate to meaning. Semantic memories are a type of memory that is declarative, holding general information involving language or information usually introduced in formal education. In the semantic network model, meaning and concepts are organized in close proximity within the brain. Research shows that long-term memory is set up in a specific way. Memory is organized into related concepts and meaning, and a semantic network model is a kind of net of ideas that demonstrates the way in which these concepts may be organized. For example, the concept of a fruit would have certain clarifying traits, such as edible or nutritious. From there, the idea would have evolved into the certain types of fruit, apples, oranges, bananas, etc. Now, let's break down the information involving, say, an apple, and the concepts that are relevant to apple, such as the types of apple, like a Macintosh or Granny Smith, or the color, like red or green, or their shape, which is a sphere, or their sweet smell. All of these are relevant concepts that come to mind when remembering what an apple is and the concepts that allow us to tell it apart from other ideas in our mind. Ideas tied to the concept of fruit. Each concept leads to another concept, and this makes up the network that makes up the concepts within our mind that create the knowledge that we rely on. In conclusion, memory is something that can feel expansive, yet at times so unreliable that people can spend their lives honing the skills and talents necessary to learn and remember long-term and still end up forgetting. Memory makes up who we are and how we perceive the world around us, as well as the impact the world has on us. Research shows that as we grow older, our memories can tend to decay or grow fainter, and diseases such as Alzheimer's can obstruct our minds and memories. Before I go, I would like to ask you to always value your memories, because as age sets in and we grow older, we may lose the very thing that makes us who we are. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.